It is Mwingi West, not
Oh,
Kitui West.
Mwingi West, proceed.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity given to me, Mr. Speaker, to support this budget. Mr. Speaker, there comes a time when you have to empathize with the situation our country is going through. And it is high time I also correct my AZIMIO side. Let us support the government to deliver the manifesto that we promised to the country while oversighting without much drama happening at the moment, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the budget is coming at a time when we are experiencing serious, prolonged drought, especially my constituency, Mwingi West. Mr. Speaker, at the same time, I note with concern, all the constituencies are staffed with development at the moment. And I like this budget because it is addressing some of the emergency issues we are all facing as members of parliament. The issue of emergency relief food. That one, no question. Mr. Speaker, we have to emphasize on that. And the only thing is distribution, the manner in which it is being done. Mr. Speaker, I would like to urge the relevant minister to ensure that this relief food reaches all the corners of the country without discrimination, Mr. Speaker. The other issue I am actually doing is
Honorable member, continue and
Mr. Speaker, protect me from OSORO. Is abusing my rights of freedom of speech. I can speak, and I can speak till tomorrow if I'm utilizing it. Mr. Speaker, so many issues have been raised up, and I don't want to labor on them. But due to the pressure and the noise I'm experiencing from OSORO, and the mood of the House.
What's your point of order, Honorable TJ?
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, I on a point of order, not on the distinguished member on the floor, but Honorable OSORO, the whip of the majority side, has closed the door to National Assembly.
Order, Honorable TJ.
No, Mr.
Order.
Is it
The Speaker has somebody had already raised that point of order before, and the Speaker has a responsibility to see if anybody is being stopped from going out or coming in, and that's not happening. Proceed, Honorable Member of Parliament from Mwingi West.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I was on the issue of addressing the climate change. We have planted so many trees. They have dried up. Let us plant the trees in the right time. The 100 other dams, Mr. Speaker, I challenge the Committee of Water. Please let us make sure these 100 dams are equally distributed across all the 47 counties without discrimination. And Ukambani, actually, we need this water more than anybody else. Mr. Speaker, the issue of 150 billion paid in bills on the road sector. So many contractors are on the verge of pulling out. And I'll cite one example of a road, Kabat Miguani Bodoni Road, which is crossing my constituency. The Chinese have threatened to walk out. If at all we are not doing hot here in this budget, let us ensure we complete all the incomplete projects in the country. Whatever it was started by the previous government, it belongs to Kenyans and not Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta or Raila Amolo Odinga. It belongs to the Kenyans, and that money should be utilized sufficiently. Mr. Speaker, the final thing, we have really suffered. CDF, no member of parliament so far has implemented a single project in the constituency. We are actually waiting for the bursaries to reflect. So those issues must be addressed. Mr. Speaker, OSORO is becoming one of the most useless minority leader. Majority leader here.
Order.
You cannot walk all of us telling a member of parliament to finish a speech. Protect me, Mr. Speaker.
The MP for Mwingi West.
Yes.
Useless is not a parliamentary language. But proceed.
But why are you entertaining unparliamentary behavior with Mr. OSORO, Mr. Speaker?
Proceed.
Us.
Conclude. OSORO, can you give peace to every member of parliament here? Proceed, honorable member of parliament.
I support this agenda of the security. Security, North Rift. This is a very critical point, and I would like Jubilee...
Honorable MP for Mwingi West.
Yes.
When you make an unparliamentary word, you apologize. So just withdraw the useless word and apologize to the House.
If he's behaving in a manner that is suggesting is useless, Mr. Speaker.
Order. The honorable
it's
member.
Okay. Mr. Speaker, withdraw and apologize.
Proceed, please.
Actually, Mr. Speaker, sometimes when you are interrupted, when you are making a speech, you lose points, but we need also protection.
Order, yes. Honorable members.
So I was touching on the issue of security in North Rift. The issue of security in North Rift, Mr. Speaker, I would like us to make sure this 400 million we have allocated here, it is properly utilized. And with those few remarks, I support and I thank the chair. The presentation was cleverly done. Congratulations for good work.
The honorable body.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there has been enough drama this afternoon. Mr. Speaker, whereas I agree and I also concur with the other members who have hailed and praised the chair of the Budget and Appropriations Committee, this being his first report to the House, which he has ably and eloquently moved with the facts, those of us who have background in finance and budgeting, someone like me who has the distinction of being the longest serving member of the Budget Committee in the history of this republic, I agree that he was very deep in his presentation and he has a grasp of the entire process of the supplementary budget. But having said that, Mr. Speaker, I have the following comments to make. Number one, you know, if you want to stabilize the economy...
You on a point of order? There's an honorable member who's raising his hand there. Okay, proceed.
If you want to stabilize the economy, and we've had none other than His Excellency, the President, say that the economy has been stabilized. Mr. Speaker, if you want to stabilize the economy, what are the indicators? It's fiscal consolidation. Now, looking at this supplementary budget, because we can only know that the government has succeeded in consolidating or on fiscal consolidation through budgets. If you look at the supplementary budget that we have, is there fiscal consolidation? Yes. The answer is no. And I will tell you that the fiscal deficit has not significantly decreased. Mr. Speaker, therefore, it is rhetoric. It is the same old story, Mr. Speaker. And for how long will we be lamenting as a House? We started lamenting way even before 2013 of the government cutting cloth not according to its size. That we are overspending as a nation, that we are overspending money that we don't have. And we are continuing. Mr. Speaker, remember, the President said that expenditure is going to be cut by 300 billion in the budget of 2022-2023. Mr. Speaker, Kenyans expected to see a reduction through supplementary budget of 300 billion. The question I want to ask today is, do we have a budget cut of 300 billion? The answer is no. The total budget cut is only coming to about 14 billion. Mr. Speaker, you will be told so many other things about how Article 223 has been used, and therefore we could not cut. Therefore, I expect the President to stand again and tell the people of Kenya that it was not possible to reduce the budget with 300 billion. We must hold our leaders to account for what they tell the public. Mr. Speaker, that will be the starting point of accountability. Mr. Speaker, my second point, and many members have talked about Article 223. Article 223, I want to agree with the leader of majority, the leader of minority. I want to agree with the chair of the budget.
Kimani Ichung'wah is on a point of order.
Honorable Speaker, you know I have tremendous respect for the Honorable John Mbadi, and he knows statements of facts are preserved in our standing orders. Honorable Speaker, we are debating this report by the Budget and Appropriations Committee, and facts about fiscal consolidation in the budget are contained in this report. If you, Honorable Speaker, if you turn to page 5 of the report, and there's a clear indication the Honorable John Mbadi may not have interacted with this report, because the fiscal consolidation is talking about is very well enumerated by the Budget Committee on page 5 of the report, actually clause 18, just to draw his reference to the clause, that the fiscal deficit as a percentage of GDP has reduced from 6.2% to 5.7 against the 5.8 agreed on between the government of Kenya and IMF, Honorable Speaker. And indeed, Honorable Speaker, because it is within my knowledge that the IMF's fiscal deficit as a percentage of GDP, they had sought to maintain it at 6.2% or 6.5%. What the president did indicate to the country that there will be a cut, an absolute cut of 300 billion shillings. Honorable Speaker, I ask them to allow me to make the statement of fact, because we cannot allow John Mbadi to mislead the country that the president committed to 300 billion budget cut, and it is not there. The 223 items we are talking about is because all those items, close to 300 billion shillings, were paid outside of the budget. Therefore, Honorable John Mbadi, you are an accountant. It is simple arithmetic. If the budget you passed last year had a budget deficit of 860, you have paid over 280 billion shillings outside of the budget. It tells you your deficit had moved to above 1 trillion shillings, irresponsibly done in the wee hours of the last regime. Therefore, the reduction of 300 billion in these books, and the chair of the budget committee is here, he can confirm, it is a fact that this budget has been cut by over 300 billion shillings. Why not for the bad manners of the 223 payments that now John Mbadi wants to belittle and say it is talk? It is not just talk. Figures are speaking here. And therefore, let us not defend the indefensible. Let us not defend theft.
Order,
He
honorable
cannot,
members.
as chair of the Public Accounts Committee, be defending theft and be defending looting.
The Honorable Ichung'wah. It is order, honorable members. Honorable members. You all have the right